It's the final in the women's 500-yard freestyle. There's Katie Ledecky's sterling record that has stood for 5 years now, 4:24. That should be safe. The three-time Ivy League champion Lia Thomas was the top qualifier in the prelims. She swam 4:33.82. Rowdy, in that race, Lia Thomas, the only swimmer to stay under 28 seconds on every lap.
Yeah, she was really solid this morning in the prelims. I didn't think she took a hard stroke the entire 500. And you can see and feel the tension in this building. It is, there is no doubt about it, Bill. Regardless of what side you're on, there is a lot of tension.
Yeah, we mentioned there were protests outside before the preliminary round. Now some have moved inside here before the final. Thomas surrounded by Texas's Erica Sullivan, silver medalist in the 1500 at the Olympics. And then out in lane number 7, Brooke Forty, who finished 3rd in this race last year. She was the 2019 Ncaa champion. She swam in the same heat as Thomas earlier on today, finished 2nd in that heat, 6th overall in the prelims.
I thought Brooke looked really good this morning. She wasn't worried at all about Lia Thomas. She kind of put the blinders on, swam her race. Her best time is faster than anybody else in this field. It's about 2.5 seconds faster than Lia Thomas. So if she can get close to what she did 3 years ago, Brooke Forty can win this race.
Yeah, that time swam back in 2019 en route to her Ncaa championship. Here's Thomas, who has been under the spotlight the entirety of this season and has mostly kept to herself, speaking only to Sports Illustrated for an article earlier this month, looking for her first Ncaa champion. She does have the best time in both the 500 and the 200, which will be raced tomorrow. She'll also race in the 100 later on this week. Next to her in lane 3, Emma Wyant, Olympic medalist, who had a great swim in the prelims earlier. And those 2 Texas Longhorns, we mentioned Erica Sullivan, but also a really good swim in the prelims from Evie Pfeiffer, the Texas 5th-year senior. It really feels like Texas has peaked well for this meet.
Yeah, they've had a great competition thus far. Currently in 2nd. 3 Olympic medalists in this field.
Now, if you take anything from the preliminary swim, Thomas built throughout that race. A small lead early, grew and grew to more than a 3-second margin over the rest of the field by the end of that race. Be interesting to see if it's a similar tactic here in the final.
Take your mark.
20 lengths of the pool. 20 points on the line for the winner here at the Ncaa Championship.
Expect Lia Thomas to go out fast, just like she did in the preliminaries. Erica Sullivan was actually the fastest at the 200 mark, 1:47.4. That's about a half second faster than Lia Thomas. She's right above Thomas in lane number 5, right there. The Olympic silver medalist in the 1500. You got another silver medalist right on the other side of Thomas. That's Emma Wyant. 3 from the bottom. She did that in the 400 IM.
And then you got Brooke Forty up in lane 7, who won silver in a relay in Tokyo as well, and is the Ncaa champ from this event back in 2019. It is Thomas and Sullivan, and in fact, it looks like it is Erica Sullivan just ahead in the early going. You mentioned she had the fastest start in the prelims as well.
And we talked about just being a freshman, 21-year-old freshman, but there have been 6 freshmen over the last 2 heats. The B final had 3. This final, A final, has 3 freshmen. There were none back in 2016.
And 2 5th years in this final as well, including Thomas, 5th year at Penn, and a major in economics. Thomas moving slightly ahead, but still very close, with Sullivan there, the center of the pool, coming up on 7 lengths down and 13 to go. Sullivan moving back ahead once again.
Got 27.6, just a little bit better than Thomas on that last 50, swimming right with her. And this is what she did in Tokyo with Katie Ledecky. She tried to hang with Ledecky as much as possible, and that really helped her as well in that race. And now she's still right there in the lead, 1:48.2.
And Emma Wyant and Brooke Forty have started to come back into a bit as well, even for 3rd and gaining ground on the top 2, Sullivan and Thomas, and it is Sullivan on top. We are coming up to the midway point. All right, Elizabeth, you're down there poolside. What are you seeing from right up close?
Yeah, and I think my favorite spot is here on the poolside. I had a front row seat to all of these girls in warm-up, and I remember watching Erica Sullivan looking so controlled and consistent in her pace in warm-up. So this is to no surprise for me that she's able to hang with the field. But this is a very close race, guys.
Thomas inching ever so slightly forward, but Emma Wyant is also coming right back into the picture. It's now Thomas in first, Wyant in second, Sullivan in third, and Brooke Forty still in contention in fourth.
How tight was that? That was 0.2 of a second between 4 swimmers on the last 50. And now it's still very tight. Thomas has now taken the lead with a 27.8. Sullivan's dropped back to third. And Emma Wyant is now coming up on Sullivan.
This is a much different story than what it looked like in the prelims. Emma Wyant, the Olympic silver medalist, stroke for stroke with Lia Thomas, slightly in the lead in the blue swim cap in lane 4. It is Thomas on top. Wyant there in second, and Brooke Forty surging up in lane number 7 as Thomas starts to inch it out a bit.
3:27.8 there on that last 50. Thomas still has that slight lead. She doesn't have great turns. She pops up right away, so if you can get a good turn, you can pull up right there even with her.
Look at Brooke Forty coming into the picture, coming up on 100 yards to go, and Thomas making a move here to pull ahead.
They're trying to stay with her, and she's moved up against that lane line, which is giving Wyant a little bit of an edge as far as catching a little draft. But it looks like Thomas is going to win.
Lia Thomas in the prelims, a little bit faster every single lap. Here at the end of this race, Thomas starting to pull away. At the bell, it's Lia Thomas moving away from Emma Wyant. Brooke Forty into third.
Wyant right up there against that lane line. She's having a great race here, and she's going to get second. That will give her a lot of confidence. Remember, she's just a freshman.
Lia Thomas pulling away over the final 150 meters. Had to work for it. She was pushed over the first 350 meters. Thomas wins the Ncaa championship. Ended up very close for second, with Wyant taking it ahead of a late charge from Erica Sullivan in third. So there's your top two. Thomas on the right, Wyant scoring an important 17 points for Virginia into second. And it was those final 100 yards, Rowdy, where Lia Thomas really pulled away.
Yeah, that's where she really took control of the race. Emma Wyant did as much as she could to hang in there and did a spectacular job in getting second. 4:34 for Wyant. She went her best time by 2+ seconds to get second.
And Thomas swims a personal best this season as well, a 4:33 low time to win by nearly 1 3/4 seconds. Lia Thomas wins her first NCAA championship, and she's the favorite again tomorrow in the 200-yard freestyle. Wyant takes second, Erica Sullivan third, and now Lia Thomas is with Elizabeth Beisel.
Leah, how did that performance measure up to your expectations coming into this meet tonight?
I didn't have a whole lot of expectations for this meet. I was just happy to be here, trying to race and compete as best as I could.
You've undoubtedly been under the spotlight over the past few months. How have you been dealing with that and reasoning with everything?
I try to ignore it as much as I can. I try to focus on my swimming, what I need to do to get ready for my races, and just try to block out everything else.
What did that race mean to you?
It means the world to be here, be with two of my best friends and teammates, and be able to compete.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
So Lia Thomas wins the NCAA